I'm Ed,
And I'm Dom.
and welcome to this special edition of the Monsters, Metal, and Moonsaults podcast. We're going to be reviewing Night of Champions. We can get right into it if you want. We can talk about we go match by match and then tell what we thought of the whole show. We could talk about what we thought of the whole show first, and then dive into the matches.
Let's suicide dive into the matches and give our overall opinions upon the completion.
All right, so we can start. We just start at the top and go through the rest of the matches to the main event. And this is
Yeah.
this is the behind the scenes shit that you don't get to hear, folks. This is how we plan shows. We're not we're not some amateurs that plan everything out ahead of time so we know what we're going to talk about. We just do it on the spot, right in front of you. We're transparent like that.
Yeah, we are. And while we're being transparent, I'll transparently tell you I would appreciate it, and Ed would appreciate it even more if you like, share, subscribe on all the platforms for advertising on the face of this video. And because that helps us grow. You can listen to us anytime you want. If you save us, we'll forever be with you.
You're goddamn right. All right, let's get into it. First thing I noticed, they didn't have those lights on like they did in the last show. Forgot what it was. So it didn't look like it was like three-quarters empty this time.
Well, the Royal
So
Rumble was empty, and because Light Schmites, people who took videos from the Royal Rumble show and posted them showed empty seats. So I think the reason why we don't have those lights this time is because there was asses and seats.
yeah, I wonder if they papered the crowd. They do that in Saudi because I mean I know the ticket prices there were friggin' ridiculous too for today's. So
Well,
um
what I did notice about the Saudi crowd again today is first time I noticed it was I think the show whatever show they had there before the Royal Rumble is if you go back to the beginning of the Saudi runs and pay-per-views, it was royalty in the front rows.
right.
But now for lack of a better term, the average Joe is in the audience. So I appreciate that because it means there's more of a true connection to what's going on
Yeah,
with the product.
yeah. It's like they're lightening up too, maybe over there as far
Yeah,
as you know how rigid they're known to be. But so yeah, it was good to actually see people there. Um
yeah.
there was when Oba came out, they did something really cool. They did a split screen with the crowd and Oba strutting, and they showed the crowd Oba strutting as well. And I was hoping that they would do that throughout the rest of the night, but they didn't. They only did it that one time. Um, I timed it. It was like 14 minutes before the bell rang for Oba and Jay. The match was around 7 minutes. I mean, you're not gonna have friggin' Oba doing 60-minute marathons like Ric Flair anyway. But I didn't really care for it. I'm gonna give it, and these rankings I'm giving, these aren't like against the greatest matches of all time. It's just kind of what I expected from this show. Um, I gave it a 4.3 out of 10. I didn't care for it at all. It was sloppy, and Jay is just as much as I was kind of hoping he'd win because I thought it would be because of Brock and it would become shit with Roman. I didn't. It was like a regular squash match, and I can't. As much as I wanted Jay to win, he's nothing but super kicks. I mean, there was a time where today he super kicked Oba while Oba was sitting down and his back was to him. So he even super kicked the back of his head. It's too much with the fucking super kicks. And it I guess it should have ended how it did because, Oba should destroy him, but it really didn't add anything for what's going to happen in the future. I don't know. Do you see like there's got to be some type of blowback or residual effect with the bloodline and Roman since Jey Uso lost.
Well, the match was a SmackDown match or a regular Raw match. in quality to me. It isn't the worst match I've seen with Jey Uso.
Um,
I was surprised by the finish. I was because we both predicted Jey to win.
yep.
And let me get this out of the way for the whole show. Spoiler alert: there's no unclean finishes. A little bit of a dirty finish. We'll get to later, but
Yeah.
overall, the show's full of clean finishes and no outside interference. I'm noticing the WWE's been doing that more and more, and it seems like they're saving those kind of things for the bigger pay-per-views. But
I,
go
I'm
ahead.
down with that. That's cool.
Yeah, if they're gonna do that and give us payoffs on the big shows, the ones that matter, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor, and Rumble, and even King of the Money in the Bank, if they save the big schmozzy finishes and interference and new debuts for those, and I'm cool with it.
Yep.
Oh, I was surprised Over won because we both predicted Brock Lesnar to come out and set up SummerSlam. So the Jey Uso super kick thing you brought up, it's been a thing for a while, but I can't hold that against him because so many WWE guys have the 5 moves to do, and that's one of Jay's 5 moves to do. The standard fucking moves they do.
Yeah,
Each guy's got their package.
but his 5 moves of doom are super kick off the ropes, super kick off the top rope, standing super kick, kneeling super kick to the back of the head.
And Uso splash.
All right, so so 4 out of 5 of them are friggin' super kicks,
Um,
and it's cool. They love them. They see something in them. WWE apparently. So I'm curious to see how this unfolds. Even though I didn't care for the match, I'm curious to see how it unfolds.
well, we talked about this before when it comes to what WWE pushes. It's who sells merch.
Yep.
Jay's still probably selling shirts.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna fuck you in the ums. I'll keep my Tourette's under control as best I can today, folks.
Oh, I'm a lot. It's cool. I am a lot. Just I'm not gonna apologize for shit. Go ahead.
I'm not apologizing. I'm just letting the whole world know I fucking Tourette's. Pickety fuckety fucky suckety dickety dickety dick. Uh, Oba winning though opens up a situation I'm more interested in now for SummerSlam because although I do have a tinge of interest in the Bloodline storyline for how they're doing it, because why are they running it back and how are they going to run it back different? Oba Femi, if he was to beat a foreign heel a la the Iron Sheik, and today our Iron Sheik would be a Gunther. If he was to beat a guy like that, he could become the next Hulk Hogan because of how much the crowd's in there. You and I talked about this on the side. But who's he going to challenge? I think this will get drug out a little bit because, without spoiling what's coming up later, if from a fan perspective, I want to see Oba fight fucking Roman Reigns already because
Right.
of how Oba is, the kind of character he is, and what he does in the ring. And if I was booking the match and I want people to go, fuck yeah, I want to see that and sell my tickets for 2 nights of SummerSlam, I'm going to do Oba Femi versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's in my mind, it's too soon for that match because Oba happened to Oba's really only up there for about half a year right now. And Roman only got the belt at at WrestleMania, but it just all played out in my head what could go down at SummerSlam. So
Well,
Oba picks. Oh, go ahead.
but again, you know how I feel about making them hottest on the rise up, as opposed to once you think they're fully developed and shit. This would be the right time. And Roman
Yeah.
Reigns is scheduled through the summer, so
So
you never know.
this is my idea. Oba's going to pick Roman Reigns, and it does tie into the Bloodline storyline with maybe Oba talk shit about Jay or whatever. But getting straight to the meat and potatoes, Oba challenges Roman because no matter what's going on with the other title by the end of this podcast, that is the bigger selling match, period,
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned. Oh, so we do Oba versus Roman, and I'm gonna stick out the fantasy booking at SummerSlam. Oba loses to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam because again, if we dig a little bit deep, there's a connection with Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar, and maybe that's where Brock comes out and does the whole "I'm screwing Oba over" thing,
Could be.
and he ends up being the reason Roman Reigns holds on to the title. But again, I'm fantasy booking, and I'm fantasy booking way too soon since it's fucking July to get through, including Saturday night's main event at the Garden at the end of July. But Jay winning was confusing if they did it. Oba winning and challenging Roman Reigns makes sense to me business wise.
Yeah, totally. And Oba, Brock, Brock won it real young, and they're kind of patterning him the way they did Brock and Goldberg in the beginning, where Goldberg wasn't as hottest as he could have been when he finally won it, and that was partially due to WCW not knowing what the fuck they were doing, but they struck gold on that one.
That was an
Um,
accident. If you look back on it, that was an accident. Like you
right.
know, Goldberg taking off the way he did was not what Eric
No,
Bischoff expected.
no, of course not. No. Um, so I could see Oba doing it that quickly, especially as over as he is. So,
I think that's what should happen. I think that actually is what should happen. What I said before is what I think is going to happen. What I think should happen is Oba should go to SummerSlam, challenge Roman, beat him for whatever reasons. Maybe there's a bloodline interference. They fuck Roman over because Roman doesn't need the title to have his bloodline storyline. We don't need the championship involved. You throw the belt on Oba, Brock Lesnar becomes his first challenger after that. That makes a world of sense to me. But everything we talk about that makes fucking sense based upon the 40 plus years we both have in experience as fans. In my experience, actually being in the business for Sneeze, um, the WWE doesn't do that today anyway. So,
well, no, what we think is the best way, they always see the opposite of.
bada
So,
bing.
all right. So next up, it was oh, by the way, Oba and Jay was around 7 minutes, so half the time that it took from the beginning of the broadcast up until they first fought. Again, though, I don't expect Oba Femi to have Ric Flair match,
I don't
but
either, but I'm not saying he couldn't. He seems like I think he could go 60 minutes if he had to.
yeah, I'm
But
sure he
why?
could.
Why? Why? Because the style today doesn't call for 60-minute marathons
Right,
like back in the day with the Nate.
right.
And
Um,
before you go on, I got a question for you. So, based on since the Jey Uso Obafemi match fits this, I know you don't play video games. I don't anymore either. But just watching the WWE, you see how much they promote their wrestling games, right?
right.
Maybe because even with the NFL games, the Madden games and stuff, everything seems to be connected to video games and some kind of sales, merch sales, etc. Maybe we see this kind of wrestling, shorter matches with a lot of false finishes and super kick, super kick, super kick, because it connects with the people who play games and the younger audience. Because that's basically what happens in video. In a video game, you end up if you start with 5 finishers, you try to use all your finishers instead of having an actual fight. That's my side quest on why they might be doing things the way they are. But what do you think?
Yeah, I could see that for the most part, just because I don't ever remember being involved in a wrestling video game where the match lasted like more than 20 minutes. Not even 10 actually.
Yeah,
So that
that's a
could be.
stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
So Liv Morgan, um, I they really fucked her up by not having her do anything while Stephanie Vaquer was hurt. It just it added to her annoyingness with the laughing and the do you know who we are? Do you know who I am? Those promos. But I did like I did like right before the match when she was interviewed and they talked about the curse.
Yep.
How and she was like, "No, there is no curse. Shut up. Don't say it." That's kind of good because they're bringing the curse to something that's not like believable, but it's better than, turnbuckles exploding and guys falling off and losing, for instance, like
Yeah.
it did like it did last night. So this
Uh,
adds a little bit of realism to it, but the the person who got over most in this match was Danhausen because of the
because of the
curse.
curse.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Danhausen's a big deal right now, but focusing on the match, we both picked Io to win,
yeah.
and I'm glad we were both correct. And it's a smart choice, but as soon as she picked who she's going to choose at SummerSlam, I sighed, rolled
Yeah.
my eyes, and went, "Okay, um, I'm not that interested." And
You
it's
know what though?
because,
I don't
yeah,
I don't know if that's necessarily going to be it. Just because she declared it that quickly doesn't necessarily. I'm still really holding out for Io versus Rhea. Like maybe they do a promo together and Rhea says something to the effect of, "Yeah, because we know what would have happened if you challenged me," or some shit like that. Like I don't know. That seemed too quick. They never announced it that quick. There's always like, "I'm gonna let you know by the end of Raw." That kind of shit. This I don't know.
I think we got the quick one because that's what they're going to do. And I think we are building to Io versus Rhea. It's just not going to be at SummerSlam now. Maybe it's going to hold off to next year's WrestleMania. The bigger of the two shows. Focusing on what's going on right now. Originally, when we talked about it in our predictions podcast, I didn't think Io versus fucking Liv at Slump, Liv at SummerSlam was the match to do. Io and Rhea was the match to do because of the history between the two. But since all of a sudden now we're talking about a curse,
Hmm.
we have a new element to the storyline, and Liv can be going into SummerSlam against Io, a nervous wreck, thinking she's cursed and she's going to
Right.
lose.
Yep.
I don't see Io going into SummerSlam and beating Liv. I don't think Liv's having a short reign. I think she'll have that belt through the year, if not all the way to next year's WrestleMania. I think they're giving her run right now. And Io losing at SummerSlam, if that's what happens, could start the storyline with her and Rhea. But again, only pump the brakes on my fucking predictions and stick to what the task at hand. The match overall to me was pretty decent. It wasn't anything I'm going to write home about. And the curse aspect to it is what piqued my interest more.
Yeah. I gave it a 6.1. Um, the curse aspect did because as soon as he put that curse on her, I'm like, oh, she's losing. But then they worked the injury to the leg really good, which was pleasantly surprising.
You mean
So
Io's leg injury?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I should have clarified. Live working the leg. But yeah, that was a good. That was you don't see that a lot nowadays in big matches or any matches for that matter. I'm wondering who friggin' produced that. But yeah, it was a decent match, nothing special. But again, like, is Io really going to challenge Liv? Because the whole reason Liv didn't do shit all this time was because they're waiting for Stephanie Vaquer to come back, and supposedly she's really close to coming back. So it wouldn't Io versus Liv doesn't make sense because Io's, you know, I mean, Liv's supposed to feud with Vaquer or continue their feud.
Yeah. But also another match that would put asses in seats is Vaquer versus Rhea. The two goth girls fighting each other are definitely going to put asses in seats. And
Yeah, but there's no history there, you know.
no, it's not. There isn't any history. But
And they
how
only,
many?
and they only got
But
like 2 months to build the whole fucking thing. So
I think we have a couple flips coming between now and SummerSlam, including CM Punk. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, but you're right. if Kerr comes back, she should naturally be going after Liv based upon how things ended at WrestleMania.
Right. Um, so it was 15 minutes, like I said, not bad. 6 out of 10. Um, Seth versus Braun was 19 minutes. I gave it a 7.4. Again, these ratings aren't against the greatest matches of all time. It's based on what I expected from the show.
Yeah.
So I automatically I can't fucking stand. The cage is supposed to be the weapon. You don't need kendo sticks or garbage cans or tables or chairs. You're supposed to just need the cage. That's what the fucking match is all about. The ominous figure, nothing but steel against skin, and they need a bunch of other shit to do it. And I still like the escaping the cage to win finish. I'll
I've
never, I'll
never been
never get over
good.
getting pinned or submitted in the cage.
So I've never been a big fan of the escape thing. That was a WWF, WWF, WWE thing. I did like the idea that the cage, in the NWA and basically everywhere else, the cage was there to keep people out and make it a brutal match, and the finish was inside the cage. That said, I don't mind the combination of the two concepts where it's, a pinfall, submission, or an escape. I don't really mind that at all. And before I jibber jabber about the match specifically, anybody who's listening, go on YouTube for what a solid, good cage match is so you can understand where me and Ed are coming from. Go Google Bob Backlund versus Pat Patterson, Jimmy Snuka versus Don Morocco, those two matches, and see what happens, how the cage is used, and the concept of the cage match versus what we get today. And you'll see why you don't need chairs, you don't need kendo sticks, chairs, or any of those shits. You just need a steel cage.
I could throw Brett and Owen in there too.
Brett Owens one of the best cage matches of all time without it being overly bloody because it was they did use that cage excellent.
Right.
You talk about SummerSlam, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my defense of the steel cage is you keep them in the cage. There's no ref in the cage, and the guy whoever loses is so incapacitated that he can't get up to pull the other guy back in or over the top of the cage. That's how I
Yeah.
that's how I see it. And it separates Hell in a Cell from a steel cage match because Hell in a Cell is pin or submission with a referee in at all times.
Yeah, you got a valid point. So then if that's the case, then WWE needs to go back to the old rule of escape only. And the way you broke it down now would make sense. It's almost like a last man standing match where the only guy who can leave the cage is the one who, got his ass kicked less.
I
All
get
right.
it. They think the drama is probably bigger if there's pinfalls and submissions because that's what people are used to. But it would really I think it would really set it apart from you know what it is now. So, but
So the match itself, I thought was good. I thought it was a good match.
yeah,
Weapons involved or not. Braun took a nice shot to the face when they did the superplex through the table spot, hence the bloody eye. If you watch people watch the replay, they can see the table snaps and comes up around and, excuse me, cracks him right in the eye.
right. Yeah, you could
Seth
see it.
Seth winning the match is interesting. Our predictions aside, because did they do what I was suggesting with Breaker? Now he says, "Fuck this! I'm leaving the Vision. I'm going to do this on my own." Does the Vision kick him out because he lost? Because the feud really should be done at this point. It's made it to its crescendo. It's made it to its final act. Where do you go with Braun Breaker now?
Well, where do you go with Seth Rollins now? Too. I know on the post
Eh,
on the post show, he talked about Roman Reigns again, but how is that gonna happen?
they can find a way to it because
Hmm.
if Roman pulls off what it looks like they're trying to do with him in the storyline, they'll have everybody back in the bloodline. And if the bloodline does end up completely reforming, then we're back to square one where it's time to put the Avengers together to take them down. So we'll see how that plays out. But Braun Breaker has lost a lot of big matches this year,
Hmm.
and as far as I'm concerned, we need a reset with him because he's excellent talent. He is a future big time talent for them. He can do a Frankenstein better than his uncle can. He's great. He's great in the ring. Gets the lineage from the Steiners. But losing all these big feud matches, it's a reset time in my opinion. And the best way, in my opinion, to reset him is to turn him babyface. Be that with the Vision turning on him or him saying, "You guys ain't getting me nowhere."
Oh no, this won't be. You guys ain't get me anywhere. I think this is you fucking lose all the time. You know, we're gonna beat the shit.
So you're going with the Vision turns on him, and we get him as a babyface.
Yeah, that's how we get a real baby face.
But yeah.
A bad guy turning on a bad guy doesn't mean they're good guys. So
Well, there is one solid argument against that, Ed. One very, very solid argument off the
go
top of
ahead.
my head. Nikita Koloff, where he went babyface out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, but that was dumb, and people weren't into it. I mean, basically, what they tried to replace Magnum TA with Nikita Koloff
Yeah,
be-
they couldn't.
because Magnum was going to be Dusty's partner against the Horseman.
Yeah,
So yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work.
yeah. And actually, Magnum TA was going to be their answer to Hulk Hogan because of how popular he was back then. But
Yeah, but in within that angle, that was he was supposed to be Dusty's partner. Then he got hurt, and
yeah.
then like, oh, it's Nikita. Oh, okay, all right, cool. So
But what do we do with Breaker? Where do you see Braun Breaker going from here? Is he feuding with the Vision? Is that what he does now, or is he sidelined and we come back to him after SummerSlam?
uh, I don't know. I don't know what they do with him now. I don't see him feuding with Division because if they don't have Braun Breaker, they don't have friggin'. I mean, Paul Heyman's been off, you know, off TV for a couple weeks now, so they're kind of like getting it in our heads that he's not really affiliated with them because they barely talk about him. Um, I think maybe the Vision just goes away, especially now since Logan Paul's still hurt. We don't know what his timeline is or Bronson Reed. That could actually be it. He could They could turn on him tomorrow. Monday. Bronson Reed could come back for all we know on Monday and be like, "Oh yeah, everything's good, man. Yeah," and then they turn on him the
Could be.
same way they did to Seth when they turned
Yeah,
on him.
yeah. It could be what transpires.
So yeah, they'll turn on him, I think, which means he'll turn on them.
Which means we
So
got it wrong across the board, and they'll fucking reform and stay together.
yeah, and it's so funny. I was thinking to myself during that match, can't they just give us a little blood? Just a little bit would be cool. And we got it. It was inadvertent, but we still got it. So that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, a non-bloody steel cage match makes me look at wrestling and go, "This ain't real."
Right.
Even though we know what the curtain be pulled back as far back as it is today, I still want that slight little bit of we're trying to trick you into thinking it's real out there. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
and for big shows, I mean, I'm not expecting it on Raw every week, but for the big shows like this and there's a cage match, I don't get what I mean, there may be some Saudi restrictions because I know they have them in states in the country in our country, but that
Yeah,
might have had something to do with it.
could be.
So next one is Trick against Ricky Saints. It was around 11 minutes, and I gave it a 7.9 out of 10. I thought this was a really good match. Two young talents that know how to work. we were expecting what happened pretty much for Trick to win.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say about it other than it was a good, solid match.
I don't have much to say about it either. It was other than it was a solid match. The trick retaining was our predictions,
Right.
and that made sense. Not sure what you do with Ricky Saints, but I I don't have anything to say about the match. It was a good match, and trick retaining made sense. Not sure what you do with Ricky Saints about the situation moving forward, but for Trick, I think you definitely do him and Carmelo Hayes one on one at SummerSlam.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I could still see that being a three-way.
I won't argue that point with you. I'm just on my side. I'd rather see the one on one. If you go back to the NXT matches, and they're fucking good. So
I would rather that too. I know WWE and I know SummerSlam two nights, so I think it was WrestleMania where every fucking match had some sort of stipulation to it. I think they liked those stipulations, or not stipulations, but gimmick matches or whatever.
yeah,
And you got to figure they'd be thinking, well, we got to get a triple threat on the bill. We have to. So I think that's the one that I don't think it's over with Trick and Ricky Saints, but I think Carmelo Hayes definitely gets in the mix. I think we're gonna get a triple threat at SummerSlam. But again,
nothing wrong with it.
no, I think that and they all three can work and all three can work a decent ground style and high flying style. So it'll be a good mix of those. Um, Next, Jade and Tiffany.
Yep,
I gave it an eight
Stephanie.
point. I gave it a Tiffany. That's right. I gave it an 8.3. I thought it was really good. It was believable, which was cool because Jade's a monster and Tiffany's not. Um, I thought it was well booked with the outside interference, even though we really didn't need it, and it didn't make it feel like it was a fucked up finish after Chelsea Green and B-Fab and Meechin and Charlotte Flair. It still didn't seem like it was overbooked. And how I feel about Jade, man, we've had several discussions. That's how she got Jade Higante as her nickname. But like I said, something since WrestleMania went off in her head. Promos are better, in ring works better. There was a little fuck up tonight where um Tiffany went for the crossbow, not the crossbow, the crucifix roll
Yep.
up pin, and I couldn't tell who messed it up, but I think it was Tiffany that messed it up, and they kind of fell over awkwardly, and Tiffany still rolled her up, but it was she kicked out at two, obviously. But yeah, but that was it. Other than that, I thought the match was really good.
Thought the match was decent. I was surprised at the finish. We both picked Jade to win,
Right.
but the finish makes sense because if I've been paying more attention, they've been setting up this Flair versus Jade feud for a little bit. So I think we go into that next. Stratton should have got her win back against Jade. She did. And I'm forecasting for SummerSlam. We get Chelsea Green against Stephanie Stratton for the U.S. title. The match was good. Even this is the only match where there's really essentially, if you want to argue about it, not a clean finish because of the outside interference. But overall, it's still pretty clean for what in comparison to other matches. Good match. Stratton retained. I was surprised, but she can keep elevating that U.S. title. Jade doesn't really need a belt to feud with Flair, and that's definitely where they're going with that. So yeah, since you're ranking stuff, and I don't really want to do it, but I'll throw in there. I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. Um, yeah, you've been saying they've been building up to Charlotte and Jade for a while now. literally since Jade's first appearance in WWE was she ran into Charlotte Flair. So
Yeah, true.
that's how long they've been building it up to.
I think we get them one-on-one at SummerSlam. You know, they'll do whatever schmozzy tag team matches and drag it out for the next month.
Right.
But we'll get them one-on-one at SummerSlam on night 1 or 2. It doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
And depending on who it is they want to see in the main event scene after that, depends on who wins. But we'll save that for our SummerSlam predictions. At least I'll save it for that.
Okay. So last one, the biggie.
Yeah.
Gunther, Cody, Sammy. 18 minutes. Gave it a 9.1. They fucking finally did it. Finally. Finally they did something where I was like, whoa. A main event, a regular wrestling match, and a regular finish. I could not believe it.
I was surprised too because I got it right.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I really expected to get this one wrong because if I was going to get swerved by them, by the WWE booking team, this is where I expected it to come. But I got it right. Sammy goes over. He finally wins the WWE Championship. He pinned Cody, which actually does surprise me.
Yeah.
I expected Gunther to be the guy to take the loss and have reasons to complain, but we'll come back to that. It was a good match between the three of them, pretty well balanced. There's only one point where I had a gripe, and the gripe was Gunther laying on his back for 3 or 4 minutes while they're doing the outside the ring bullshit. Otherwise,
yeah.
Otherwise, this match was good. It ended the way it should have ended. The hometown crowd got their hometown hero, for lack of a better term, the victory. And it gives me ideas on what might happen with Cody next. It shows me a path for Gunther, which is one I wasn't actually expecting for the next big pay-per-view, which is SummerSlam. So, yeah, I dug the match. Yeah, on the rating basis, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because they did good working with all three. All three of them worked good together. They fixed botches together.
Yep.
Table botch. They said, fuck it, we're doing it again, and went
Right.
through.
Yep.
And I'll give Cody credit for taking a pin because it helps diminish the concept of him being the golden boy, not willing to lose, and someone else got to be in a match to take a loss. So I think it went over well booked, finished that the crowd there deserved, and again, we got it right. So I'm gonna
you got it.
jump
You
on
got
that.
it right. You got it right.
I got it right. That's right. Let me Barry Horowitz myself real quick.
That's right. You pat yourself on the back.
I got it right.
And that was one of those when you predicted it. I looked at my computer like, what the fuck did he just say? So, really well booked. That friggin' fucking sunset flip destroyer that Sammy did on Gunther was great.
Yeah, that was excellent. I remember looking at the screen going, "What the fuck? That was awesome!" That's not something I expect Gunther to fucking take or Sammy to do. That was nice surprise move.
Yeah, and there was another point where Cody was covering Gunther near the ring apron, and Sammy reached in just as the hand was coming down and stopped the referee's arm. I thought that was a good little spot too.
It was a good spot. Pardon me for correcting you. It was a sleeper hole. Cody was going to sleep. It was snooze time for Cody. His hand was going down the third time, and Sammy saved the day.
All right.
The pinfall breakups we got were the referee getting dragged out of the ring. Once by Sammy, once by Cody. And I like what I saw in Cody Rhodes. I saw the we're still building towards it. We're eventually going to get it. Cody Rhodes heel turn. So based on his behavior in the match.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
sticking with that, man.
I didn't see
Yes.
any heel worthy shit from Cody Rhodes in that
Oh,
match.
is
I
that?
just saw Cody Rhodes.
I felt like his attitude calling Sami Zayn out in the ring and outside the ring
Oh yeah.
was, more heelish. It's not really Cody trying to. He's like, all right, fuck you, dude. You're gonna show you for talking the truth about me, for telling the truth about what I see. Excuse me. Sammy's been doing the Drew McIntyre thing. His heel turn has been him telling the truth,
Yeah.
and there's Cody getting mad about it. So to me, that's more of a heelish move than Sammy.
I'll tell you what,
It
for well, I looked forward to SmackDown last week and it fucked me in the ass. But
isn't deep.
I'm
No
I'm
lube.
I'm looking forward to this week's SmackDown just to see the Sami Zayn segment because I think it'll be really good. Whatever he does, I think there's got to be some rant to the audience, where he's in the ring alone and he's just going off on them. So,
If they
and
don't,
I'm
if they
I'm
don't,
anxious I'm anxious to
so
see what the crowd reaction is going to be because he could be a major heel. He really
they're gonna
could.
boo the fuck. They should boo the fuck out of him.
They
He should
will.
actually go out there and tell the crowd the truth, and they'll boo the fuck out of him. His promo on the post show was excellent,
Yes.
and excellent, heartfelt truth again. And I kind of like what they're doing with those things, where they're actually pulling the curtain back and throwing truth into promos. That I dig. Sammy, man, I don't want to shit on his win today. He's not going to hold that belt long. I don't see him being the guy at SummerSlam defending the title, but WWE should prove me wrong. He should be in there somehow. Um, he deserves it. It was the right win. Gunther, you're interested in what he's going to say, what Sammy's going to say on SmackDown. I want to see what's going to happen with Gunther and Nick Aldis
Yeah.
because we thought we were going to get this with Aldis and McIntyre.
Right.
Now I'm thinking we're going to get Nick Aldis versus Gunther at SummerSlam.
Oh, I think that's definitely something that could be thought about as realistic, without a doubt.
I was wondering what they're going to do with Gunther if he's not in the World Championship picture at SummerSlam. And I'm like, well, that's actually an excellent alternative match. Is him against fucking Nick Aldis. And for the fans out there who only think Nick Aldis is a, SmackDown GM, you go ahead and Google him. He was Magnus in TNA, which wasn't that big of a deal, but he was the NWA World Champion when Billy Corgan started rebuilding that organization and built it around him. Nick Aldis is an excellent in-ring wrestler. Nick Aldis has history with Cody Rhodes at the very first AEW event. So you go ahead and dig up Nick Aldis to see what he's known about in the ring, besides the fact that he's married to Mickey James. And you
Okay.
could see the storyline, where the storyline is going, and the post-show interviews. This is probably going to happen at SummerSlam. It's Gunther and Aldis, you know, he'll give Gunther an excellent match.
Yeah, I hope they don't waste it on Saturday night's main event. So
I hope not either.
I'd rather see it at SummerSlam because just simply for the fact that we'd probably get a longer match and a better match at SummerSlam.
And I'll throw this out there too, that Nick Aldis deserves the SummerSlam.
I'd love it. I think that'd be great. And like when they got in each other's faces in the past several weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be thinking, come on, somebody hit somebody. I want to see this match. So it looks like we're finally gonna get it. So
You and I being the old school wrestling fans, if Aldis fights Gunther, we get to see a 1980s match again, based on how those guys both work in the ring. Because Aldis was another Holy Race kind of guy. If you look at his NWA work and how he presents himself in the ring, the type of heel he is, even if he takes the role of babyface in the match, he's still going to have the same style. Him and Gunther are going to give us an old school match.
yeah, that'll be a good, grounded, stiff match. Yep, totally.
Yeah, and I'd be stoked to see something like that because again, it'll connect with my childhood and why I ever watched wrestling to begin with.
And like I said, hopefully it'll be at SummerSlam and not Because I don't know if they even know what's happening with Gunther right now, like what their plan is for him.
It
So
looks like they're trying to find a. It looks to me like they're trying to find a way to keep a guy who should be the world champion away from the world championship, and a feud with Nick Aldis going into SummerSlam is the way to do it. You can't do it forever. Eventually, Gunther's going to have that belt back on him. If you're, as far as I'm concerned,
yeah,
I
I
know
agree
that
too.
we'll get people in the comments going Gunther sucks, which we did today. I saw that. Oh, yeah, whatever.
If people will actually fucking comment, please.
Oh, we got comments.
I know I'm sounding whiny, but like we get 7,200 fucking views and 2 fucking comments. Could you please just start commenting? I know that's kind of lame, and you're not supposed to like do that kind of pandering, but you know, what's the big deal? That sucked. You guys are dumb. Fuck off. Whatever. Whatever. We'll take the comments.
We got some.
Some.
We got some, and some of the ones we got, there's been a couple we got that I'm not even going to respond to because it's just going to make, the shit steam more in the cold night. So I'm not going to respond to some of them. And other ones were actually interactive. And that's what we all want. That's what everybody that does this wants. And for everybody out there listening, unlike other channels, and this is not me smacking another channel in the face, but we don't get paid to do this. There's other guys that spend their income is doing this. We
Well,
mainly do this from a fan perspective.
well, aside from that, please start fucking commenting more with fucking sugar and cream on top. All right?
Sugar cream
There.
cherries and fucking nice boobs. How about that? Sugar coated cherry top boobs, please.
I
And
knew when I said cream and cherries, you were gonna add something something to
you
that
were
effect.
halfway through cherry, and I was already thinking about tits.
Right. Like so every non wrestling, non gay wrestling fan who's a woman is automatically like, ew. But anyway, I'm not even giving you the opportunity to respond to that, Mr. Screwdriver.
Ew.
Total,
Look, so
total, total rating on the show.
overall rating for the complete show, I give it a 6.7
6.7. I'm gonna go a little
out of
higher.
10.
I'll give it a 7.4 out of 10.
So Ed over here wants comments. So here's one for everybody. What did you guys think about the show overall? What was your favorite match? Drop it in the comments, please. I know we'll both take a look and see what you got to say. And what do you think about Sammy winning? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Sammy comes out of here, the WWE champion. What do you think they do with him? Do you think he deserved it? Do you think he goes to SummerSlam and defends the title? What are your thoughts on Sami Zayn winning the championship today?
And on that note, he's Dom over there.
And that's Ed over there.
And you have been listening to this special edition of the Monsters, Metal, and Moonsaults podcast. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Thanks for fucking listening. Like, share, and subscribe. Pretty fucking please.
And comment.
Say something. Even give us your mom's fucking favorite cookie recipe. I like cookies. I'm down to check it out.